It's December 1st, 2024, last month of the year. So this is the final update video for this year where I'll talk about what we've got coming up in December and what you might have missed and perhaps want to check out from November. I always begin with three big things. So big thing number one is we've got a vote going right now for the final 3 slots for the Worlds of Speculative Fiction series. Link to it is below. If you haven't already voted, then go ahead if you've got an interest in it in taking some sort of active role in deciding who we're going to cover, then you want to get in on that. Big thing number 2. So I'm going to have some online classes that I'll be publicizing, advertising, telling you about that will be coming up in January that you might want to get in on as well. So keep an eye out for those. One of them is going to be about Platonic dialogues. People have been asking me about that for quite a long time. Big thing number 3, well, it is the end of the year, so we're going to have the usual big retrospective. We might do something for New Year's Eve or New Year's. We'll see what's going on, how tired I am, and what we want to get in on. But keep an eye out for that as well. So those are the 3 big things. Let's talk now about the month that has passed, that of November. So in November, we had a lot of cool events. We had the usual online stuff, an AMA, that's Ask Me Anything, to kick off the month. We also had our Worlds of Speculative Fiction start back up again with the first of 2 sessions on Tad Williams' Memory, Sorrow, and Thorn fantasy trilogy. We'll be looking at the last book of that this coming month, but we covered the first 2 books in the trilogy, a little over 1,100 or 1,200 pages, so quite a bit there. We started up Understanding Anger again, which was really great, and we focused on Seneca's On Anger Book 2, had a lot of great discussion, and we were using a different platform for that and for the AMA so that we could stream it not just here on YouTube, but in Facebook and LinkedIn as well. And we had a in-person event in the quarterly series, Philosophers in the Midst of History. We had a great session on Iris Murdoch. All of these are linked to below, so you can find them in the show more or the video description if you're interested in seeing any of them. It's been a really busy month, a lot of family stuff because we have Thanksgiving. We had a pretty low-key Thanksgiving here. Also, the 13th anniversary of Andy and I getting married on November 30th. A lot of teaching stuff going on. We did have the Thanksgiving break, which is kind of nice, but gearing up for that, getting ready for the semester to close. I'm teaching 4 academic classes, 3 different preparations for that, so I'm pretty busy. And I've got a lot of writing I've been doing. I actually started a translation project with my friend Harold Kavli, translating an important Stoic text, but I won't tell you about that until later on down the line. I won't tell you any more details. And I did a lot of, philosophical counseling and tutorial work with my various clients. And not so much here in the office, but at our condominium, we're still unpacking and getting the space ready. We moved back in the end of September and started unpacking things in October. We're still not done unpacking yet. So, and I did a lot of volunteering, as you probably saw, at Almost Home Cat Rescue. So that's stuff that's been going on. Video work. I finally got to another fake quotes video, this one about Thomas Aquinas and things he didn't say that people say that he said. I also did a book review in Sadler's Honest Reviews on the recent book by my colleagues Brittany Palat and Chris Gill called Stoic Ethics, quite good. I've been doing some videos of excerpts from a class that I taught on Stoicism and the Cardinal Virtues this spring and releasing that stuff. People are quite interested in those videos. And just as a note, I will be teaching that class again this coming year in an expanded form. So if you're interested in learning about what the Stoics actually do have to say about the virtues and how they break down and what the sub-virtues are, keep an eye out for that. I also did a video specifically about my podcasts. People have been asking questions about it. It was about time that I did something like that. So when people have questions, they want to know, do you have any podcasts? They can go straight to that video. I did 2 Sadler stories, one about a very funny incident that happened at the American Philosophical Association years ago. Another even further back about a cuddly little friendly hamster who was also very independent, who started out being named Daryl and eventually got named Deke, who used to crawl around our house and cuddle up with me. I also did a very funny video that drew quite a lot of attention about this Oxford philosopher who kind of made a fool of himself with, the things that he said about Oxford being the only true home for philosophy, which I don't think there actually is a true home for philosophy. But yeah, he drew a lot of reactions, both in Twitter and then the video that I produced about it. And I've been doing a lot of core concept videos. I got up to the end of part 3 of Max Scheler's work, Resentiment, looking at, Christian morality and whether it's filled with resentiment or not. And then I released one video in the series that I'm now going to be finishing out on Seneca's work on anger. I shot a bunch of videos a long time ago when I was teaching this class, which I'll be teaching again, by the way, this coming semester, no longer for Marquette, but for Milwaukee Institute of Art and Design on anger and justice. And I didn't get to all of them, so I've started shooting the videos on topics that I hadn't got to before. I also did a lot of releasing podcast episodes that I was editing, finished up with Ursula K. Le Guin's Earthsea books. There was one towards the end of, or the very beginning of November. Then I started releasing stuff on H.P. Lovecraft's wonderful story, The Call of Cthulhu, the story that spawns a whole mythos. Did some on John Wisdom's excellent article, Gods, which I can't recommend highly enough. And then some stuff that I found I hadn't done podcast episodes on. Plato's Republic, Book 1, I released 4 episodes on that. And I have recently started releasing the first 2 episodes from a big set on Jorge Luis Borges's short stories. There's a lot more of those to come. So that was November. Let's talk now about the month ahead. What is coming up in this last month of the year? So we got a lot of online events, which means that if you're watching this, you can definitely participate in any of them if you would like to. You don't have to go here to Milwaukee to meet up with me. So on the 7th, we kick off with another Ask Me Anything session, which will be live streaming on YouTube Live, Facebook Live, and LinkedIn Live. So a lot of different ways that you can join in on that. Later that day, for Patreon supporters, we'll be having our philosophy chat at 2 p.m. All of the times, by the way, are Central Time. So if you're interested in joining that, if you join at a certain level, you get to participate in the chats. Then on the 14th, we are going to finish up the Memory, Sorrow, and Thorn trilogy by Tad Williams. Wonderful fantasy series with the massive, over 1,000-page final book of that trilogy, although he has written some more books that maybe we'll look at down the line. That will be happening at noon Central Time. On the 21st, Scott Cerulli will be joining me for classic metal class. We haven't been able to do that due to some scheduling issues. We may need to move that around a little bit. We'll see what goes on. Scott is very busy and is doing a lot of gigs and practices and stuff like that. But if we do have it, we're going to be talking about counterfactuals or what ifs. Like, for example, what if David Lee Roth had never gotten kicked out of Van Halen? Or what if, we're going to go on and on. There's a lot of cool ones. J.K. Lee had been Dio's original guitarist instead of Vivian Campbell. So we're going to explore a lot of those, and we're going to talk about the metaphysics of counterfactuals as well, and how much we can push the alternate timeline. So there's a little bit of a speculative fiction aspect to that. On the 22nd, something I've been wanting to get to for a while, that's a Sunday at noon, we will be doing another one of the video premieres of the self-directed study in philosophy. And this time around, I'm hoping to focus on Augustine, another very important medieval thinker. We've done Anselm, we've done early Christian thinkers, we've done Thomas Aquinas, time for Augustine as well. And then on the 28th, we'll have another session of Understanding Anger, which will be streaming again on YouTube Live, Facebook Live, LinkedIn Live, and we'll be finishing up Seneca's book on anger, looking at book 3, which is the longest of it, so there's a lot of material to cover. We may schedule some other things in there, might do something on New Year's. We'll see down the line. So stay tuned for those sort of things. I'm getting ready for the semester ahead. In January, I've got 2 classes at Milwaukee Institute of Art and Design. Both of them are online. One is synchronous, one is asynchronous. One is that anger justice class that I've taught at Marquette a number of times, and I'm going to be teaching it MyEd. The other one is a philosophy, and it's called Philosophy, Mindfulness, and Life. It's actually philosophy as a way of life. We explore 5 different philosophical positions. Students apply practices, learn some things, chart their own progress, and see how it works out for them. It's a really fun class, and I might turn it into a class available to the public down the line. Now, that is something I need to bring up. So we are going to start the year with 2 online classes that will be available. And I'm going to put out videos and lots of publicity about these. One is going to be focused on Plato's dialogues, specifically the Meno, Ion, Euthyphro, Apology, Credo, and Phaedo. It's going to be an 8-week online class. Very intensive engagements with it. You can begin as a beginner. You can be at the intermediate, even advanced level, and get something out of it. This is stuff I've been teaching for 25 years, so I'm looking forward to sharing it with you. And we're going to reprise the class that I taught last year online in the Study with Sadler Academy on ancient philosophers on friendship. So that is a great class. We look at Plato, at Aristotle, at Cicero, at Seneca, at Epictetus, Dio Chrysostom, Lucian of Samosata, a bunch of other people as well, including Plutarch. So that will be a really interesting class that you, if you want to, can enroll in and take with me, not for credit, but for personal enrichment. I'm going to be having a lot of other work. I've got continuing clients in philosophical counseling, tutorial sessions, coaching, that sort of stuff. I do need to point out as well that I'm going to be raising my rates for tutorials starting at the beginning of the year. So, if you're interested in tutorials, you might want to get in touch with me before the rates go up. What else do we got going on? Well, I'm going to be doing a lot of video work. You saw the first core concept video, the new core concept video on Seneca's On Anger released already. I'm also going back to another text that I did a series on but didn't get all the way through. Again, I was shooting it for my classes, and I only did enough for the students at the time. I didn't want to overwhelm them, but I want to go through the rest of it. It's Aristotle's Poetics. So I'm going to be shooting videos on that. I'll be doing a number of ideas that matter. Some of them are the ones where I'm interviewing the person. I've got at least one ideas that matter reversed lined up where the person is interviewing me. And I'll be doing some more of those selections from Stoicism and the Cardinal Virtues, doing the Q&A. So if you want to get an idea what that class was about, you can see it there. I'm going to do some more fake quotes videos. I'll probably release at least one of them over December. I'm going to do some more quick takes videos where I give you a little bit of advice. I'll probably do another one of those videos about like which authors you ought to read, and we'll be focusing on Hellenistic and imperial Roman era philosophy before the rise of Christianity. So, pre-Christian stuff. I've got some book reviews to do. I've got quite a few books lined up for that. And I really do want to get to, I know I've been talking about this for a long time, at least one NA, that's not alcoholic, beer review. I've been wanting to find the time for that and a good place. And I'm thinking maybe this is the spot. I'll also be doing a few videos about the various services I have, the platforms that I'm on, so people can be better informed and I can put them in my channel. And of course, Wisdom for Life, the radio show that I do with my friend Dan. We're working through the Stoic paradoxes. We did one show last month. We've got a couple more shows lined up for this month, and that is a lot of fun as well. In the Sadler's Lectures podcast, I've got that whole series on Jorge Luis Borges, most of which I've already released to my Patreon supporters as perk for them, and I will be releasing them to the general public on a whole bunch of different stories. Also, once I get finished with those, so probably close to the end of the month, I've got more Seneca on anger content to bring out in podcast form. So that is what you can expect to see coming up. I hope you can join me for some of these online events, and I hope that it's a great month, a great finish to the year for you. It's getting cold, it's getting dark, at least here in the Northern Hemisphere. I know some of the people watching this are in the Southern Hemisphere, so it's, getting nicer there, actually approaching the middle of summer for you, isn't it? Or you're launching into that. So that's it from me. I hope that it's a great month for you, and check out all the things I've linked to below. Join in the events if you want to, and check out those online classes that are going to be enrolling later on this month.